The second trailer for Dune Part Two came out, and the only word for it is epic. This movie looks massive, so I wanted to share my thoughts on the trailer. My guess is that this scene takes place in Carthage, which was the capital of Arrakis while the Harkonnens ruled the planet, and it looks like it might be the scene where the Baron appoints Raban as the temporary ruler of Arrakis. These people behind Raban remind me of ceremonial priest-type people that would normally be at an important event like this. This shot looks insane, and I feel like I haven't seen anybody talking about it. The environment and the colors make me think that it will be from the same scene as this shot from the first trailer. I don't know exactly what it is that we're looking at or they're running towards, but it looks super intense and it has crazy visuals. The reunion scene between Gurney and Paul is just as adorable as it was in the book, and Gurney even says the same thing to Paul.
You young pup.
If you've read the book, then you'll know that right before their reunion, Paul and his group of Fremen shot rockets at the smugglers, which Gurney was a part of, killing some of their men and destroying their equipment. And in the background of this shot, it looks like you can see some equipment on fire. So this feels straight out of the book, and they are just keeping it the exact same. A super important thing that I've noticed is how they are emphasizing that Paul and Fade are basically opposite sides of the same coin. The parallels in the shots of each of them are too hard to ignore. This shot of Fade looking up looks so similar to this shot from part 1 of Paul looking up. And again later in the gladiator scene when Fade holds up his knife, Paul does the exact same thing. So I just love that they're really sticking to this idea of Paul and Fade being equals, but raised in different environments. Another visual parallel that I love is the vision that Paul had from part 1 of the final battle. We see the exact same fighting style and shots, but it was actually Chani doing the fighting. To me, this is a way of showing us that Paul's prescience isn't just seeing the future and looking forward, but a confusing layout of possible paths that he doesn't have a full grasp of. This one is definitely a reach, but I've seen some people talking about this child possibly being our first look at Aaliyah. While it's a fun idea, I think she looks a little too old for it to be her, but still, this is the only child I think we see in the trailer, and she's right behind Stilgar. We also got our first look inside of a siege, and it looks exactly how I imagined it. It looks just so huge, and there's so many Fremen. And it also reminded me of the ant colony from A Bug's Life, in this scene where Hopper and his grasshopper friends all break through to the ant colony with the light coming down from the top. The last thing I wanted to talk about was this shot of the atomics and what looks like an Imperial ship above the giant metal tent. This could be where the Emperor is, and it looks exactly like the Imperial ship we saw in part 1, but just shinier and fancier, which would make sense for an Emperor. Overall, I thought this was a very well done trailer. We got plenty of new footage, a look at Christopher Walken as the Emperor, and the music was incredible. I just loved this trailer, and I cannot stop watching it. The sets just look massive. The scale of this movie seems exactly like a modern sci-fi epic, and I just hope that we can finish a trilogy and get Denis to do Dune Messiah.